welcome to the GT4 round 2 pre-comment. No, not pre-comment. This is commentary.
This is
My
commentary.
bad.
Yeah, we're watching pre-commentary, and this will be commentary.
I'm very attractive, and with me as always is Lord Archibald Clapham Cheeks.
I do love the Clapham Cheeks.
We are currently coming to you live on tape delay via satellite from the town of Sneddings.
Snetterton.
Some kind of witch town in Sneddings upon fucking Glasgow.
Stunningly enough, there are like none of the upon Tyne and all that. They don't have a racetrack around there. I guess
Well, that sucks because it could be racetrack upon Tyne upon Dave's house.
But I think it's not classy enough for those areas. I think those areas are very posh.
Sounds like a bunch of dicks.
We are at Snetterton, and this is actually a history moment because I do believe this is the first official round of ESR competition at Snetterton.
I had to ask you to pronounce it 3 times before I understood what you were saying.
It is a bit. I've coined the term that this is the wet snetty, and that's what it's going for. So blow your nose. Yeah, this is the second round of the GT4 British series that we're running. Although it does have one round that's not in Britain. It will be going to Zolder in Belgium for one of its rounds, so it's not completely British. Matt Higgs currently on the pole position ahead of Max Simmons. Good job by Simmons. Dom Boulanger making his ACC debut. That is why he is shown as a bronze driver. I'm going to let you know a secret. He is not a bronze driver. He is quite quick. Paul Riccobeni in 4th place, followed by I don't remember what the S stands for again, but Bartosiak in the no TC, no EBS Maserati, which honestly in the wet, probably not a bad car to be in because everybody's going to be suffering from grip and braking issues because of the wet, and that means that the Maserati's normal shortcomings of a lack of electronic aids actually shouldn't be much of a problem.
What about just regular analog aids?
Well, the analog aids are, dude in the car.
We got a vaccine for that yet?
Freddie Avila in 6th place, followed by Mika Watt, Trevor Cheney, Jeff Wentworth, and John Archie. Continuing on down the list, we got Zach Martin, William Murr all the way down in 12th place. What sorcery is this? Mark Sutherland, Jamie Bayless, Cole McRae, Cliff Hemian, Diego Alonso, Otan, sorry, I don't remember what your first name is, Tom Waz, Seth Cheney, Skylar Caster, A. Santos, I don't believe I have a first name for him, and A. Mitchell. I don't believe I have a name for him.
He is Aloysius Mitchell.
I will say this, if it's Andrew Mitchell, I'm going to be like the most negative commentary guy on him because I knew a guy at high school named Andrew Mitchell. I did not like that motherfucker one bit.
Is that because he quite literally was Hitler?
He was not Hitler. It wasn't a master race racial thing. It was just not great. We'll put it that way. We'll just leave it at that. So time clicking down here till the start of the race. This is a 40-minute race with a mandatory pit stop, and it will be wet all the way through.
And then they have to ride Vespas.
Oh boy. Vespas around Snetterton, that'd be a long lap because it's a 2-minute plus lap in these cars. I mean, imagine what it would be in a Vespa.
The ride of a lifetime.
So we got a couple of new faces, or at least some faces that are just kind of starting to make their mark in ESR. Boulanger, Bartosiak, for example, the front there. Sutherland, Bayless, Tan. Anyone whose first name I don't know, that would be a good sign that they haven't been here very long. Santos, Mitchell. I don't think I've seen Santos and Mitchell at all. I think they are brand new. So, welcome aboard. Byron, do you have any hopes and dreams for this wet race affair?
Well, there was that one where I was running through the woods and couldn't escape.
I have a hard time thinking of a dream where you're running away from something. I I feel like you'd be like, the Predator, or like, just.
I believe there were a fair, healthy amount of werewolves at the time.
Oh boy. I can relate to the werewolf dreams. Werewolf is like one of the few like kind of mythical beast creatures or whatever that actually, I don't know what it is, but it does push my buttons a little bit.
I mean, they're the size and strength of a gorilla or bigger, and they got teeth and claws and stuff, and they can jump real far.
Well, I don't think it's that, because like there are other big, like heavily destructive monsters that don't claw their way into my subconscious.
Well, they don't howl at the moon.
Maybe that's it. Or it could just be like a healthy fear of wolves from like Slavic genetic heritage.
From being chased through the woods as a kid.
I don't think I've
Today you become man, and they throw you out of a car and you got to run home.
I've never been chased by something through the woods outside of humans.
Well, today's your lucky day, because I've arranged for. Oh wait, sorry.
Playing like capture the flag stuff. I do remember actually in 7th grade we went to a place called Bark Lake, and the whole goal of Bark Lake is to like build like teamwork skills. And at the end, there was a massive full contact capture the flag game.
Nice.
Which was lovely. That was also the first time I ever saved someone from drowning, because one of my friends got stone cold stunnered on a rock and fell into the Bark Lake. And we had to fish him out.
Note to self: don't play full contact stone cold stunners on the near river.
It was we had a really, really dysfunctional cabin. We'll put it that way. It was a bunch of like, I'm using friends with the biggest air quotes you can get as an example, and we were fighting with each other every night. It was pretty terrible.
Acquaintances at best.
We broke various things. We were in the staff cabin too, which means we had the nicest cabin, and we destroyed that thing.
They were never invited back to those bar mitzvahs.
Mm-hmm. There was I'll finish the story in a bit. There is a wolf story I would like to add onto that that involves a guy crying. So we'll add on to that later. But let's get to the start of this race here in the wet at Snetterton as they head down to turn number 1. Turn number 1, fairly tame turn, even in the wet. I think we'll be okay. But turn number 2, this is where things might get real interesting, because this is a heavy braking zone into a horseshoe hairpin turn. Matt Higgs still in the lead ahead of Max Simmons. I think I've got most of the liveries straight, so hopefully I can handle that. That's Mika Watt and Otan, I do believe, battling. Is that not Otan? I think it's Otan. Definitely a McLaren. Otani.
Overly tan?
I only see... Oh, that could it be Freddie Avila? It is a McLaren. Avila's fallen quite a ways. You know what? Watt has gotten a great start. He was like 9th on the grid. He's up to 6th place. Wow. Go Mika! Well, Matt Higgs. We got Simmons, Belanger, Riccobeni, Bartosiak. McRae is not in 6th place. Oh, contact between Avila and Watt. And that sends Mika Watt off. A great start undone in an instant.
Spin your partner, join in right.
So I'm sure Freddie Avila will find himself getting a bit of a penalty there. Yeah, I think Otan is the white and blue McLaren, and then you got the black and red one of Bayless. Those are the 3 McLarens. I'm surprised there's only 3 McLarens. The McLaren's a really solid car for the tracks that we're dealing with. But it was not that popular. I'm still not sure what's up with Cole McRae being shown in 6th place. Oh, that is Jamie Bayless off the track. And recovering. So a couple of incidents on lap 1. Not too bad, though, for the wet. Anyways, to finish off my little story that I was telling earlier. So there was one guy in our cabin named Dan who refused to take a shower, which is not great. It's 7th grade. It's not terribly unexpected. Ironically, he's the most I gotta look good guy of the group of us now that we've gotten older. Ironically, but he would not shower, and the other 4 of us basically ganged up on him, beat him up, threw him out of the room, and told him to go take a shower. And he's pounding on our door, threatening all kinds of bodily harm towards us. So he starts crying. And we're like, what the fuck's going on? And then all we hear is, guys, let me in. It's a wolf. And we let him in, and we look out, it's a fucking raccoon.
That's pretty gangster.
So we chased the raccoon. We chased him out. We chased the raccoon out, and then threw Dad out again and told him to go have a shower. So we look at Cliff Hemian and the I believe that is the Bullet. Yeah, that is the Bullet Racing Mercedes AMG. I kind of like that livery.
It's pronounced Boulet.
It might actually, because it is a French team. So it may actually be Boulet Racing. He's running in 15th place behind Avila and Otan in the two McLarens up ahead. Actually has a McLaren not too far behind him in the form of Bayless, so he's kind of in McLaren City, but it is Alonso's Porsche and Seth Chaney in the Camaro directly behind him. Higgs still leads from Simmons, Belanger, Riccobeni, Bartosiak. Wentworth up to 6th. I don't know what's up with Cole McRae because it didn't look like I could see the Ginetta at the start, but apparently he's in 7th place, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe some kind of connection issue.
Rainbow connection.
Trevor Chaney having a really good day. Qualified in the top 10, is still there in 8th place behind William Murrah. Possibly 9th place. Again, I'm not sure what the deal with Cole McRae is because the car ahead of Murrah, that's Wentworth. That's not McRae. It's not a Ginetta, so I don't know what's up with the Cole McRae entry.
Cole too small.
Matt Higgs under pressure from the Aston Martin of Max Simmons. Higgs sporting the kind of boring GT Marks livery. I'm not a big fan of that one.
Is that because it looks like a whore's lipstick?
Well, when we see it, I will let you give your thoughts.
I just randomly came up with words. I'm sorry,
I'm fine with it. John Archie running in. Again, 9th or 10th place. This is really, really fucked up. this whole thing with is McRae there? Is McRae not there? This is really fucked up.
He has vanished into the mist.
Anyways, picking up an odd camera angle there. As John Archie is behind teammate William Murrah in their BMW M4s. BMW, I thought, was kind of heavily represented in this field, but actually there are only 3 of them. So, terribly heavily. We do have a lot of Camaros. 3 Camaros in the field, a single Audi, single Aston Martin, or a single Maserati. Aston Martin, I think, is a pretty popular car. Looks like there's only 3 of those, actually. Mercedes, 4. So, you know what? A pretty differential grid, actually. There's not really a dominant car here. There are some missing. No KTMs. Is a little bit of a letdown. That's Byron's favorite car. You can curry all kinds of favor with Byron if you pick the KTM.
Which one's that again?
That's the one that looks like a little go-kart, basically, and the whole front end raises up when the driver gets out of the car.
That is pretty cool.
There are none of those in today's field, unfortunately.
And whose of his faults is that?
Well, it would be the 23 drivers you see before you, none of whom picked the KTM.
You're all disqualified. This race does not count.
I think it's the only car missing. I think everything else in GT4 is present. We do have a Ginetta. We do have an Alpine. We do have a Maserati. These are the other 3 cars that are sometimes absent. We do have an Audi, which is very unpopular, running in 4th place in the hands of Paul Riccobeni. Back to the front. So the lead car there, that is the GT Marks car that Max Simmons, or that Matt Higgs is running. The white, the blue, the white, yellow, and black. I'm not a big fan. I do like Mika Watt's car though. That's pretty nice looking. Not a big fan of Belanger's. Can't complain about Paul Riccobeni's. That's the same Audi I ran last season, so I can't object.
I mean, if anybody was to complain, it would be you, because you drove it.
And Bartosiak doesn't have a choice. That's the only Maserati livery available. So, if you want to run the Maserati, that's the livery you got to run. Top 5 have made a really big break. Jeff Wentworth is falling off the back of this group as Zach Martin experiments with track limits and loses a spot to Otan there. So dropping down the order to presumably 15th place. Side-by-side action between one of the Camaros, Trevor Chaney and William Murrah. This is a nerve-clenching place to be with Murrah, who is a aggressive overtaker. I say that both in good and bad statement. It's a neutral statement, I guess is what I'm getting at. And he's got his teammate John Archie behind him. Still don't know what's up with Cole's car.
It's on fire.
Well, it's being shown as 1.5 seconds ahead of Trevor Chaney, but there definitely is no car 1.5 seconds ahead of Trevor Chaney. So I don't get it. BMW teammates, and it's in the pit lane, so I really don't understand what's going on with the Cole McRae Ginetta.
He's obviously hacking. Kick him out.
I mean, it'd be weird that he's having internet problems because this is hosted not terribly far from him.
No, man, he's hacking. He's obviously put himself in that position and just gone and pitted, and he can't change the results.
As John Archie has moved up into, we're just gonna ignore Cole McRae being there for our commentary purposes. If he's there, he's there. But I'm going to say that was for 8th place that John Archie just picked up.
93rd place.
They got Mika Watt on behind him as he makes his comeback through the field. Then Sutherland, Avila, Tan, Hemian, Martin Bayless, Alonso, Chaney, Santos, Skylar Caster, Waz, and Mitchell. They'll seem to have a permanent yellow flag out. It might be something to do with the McRae issue. That, or we have a car that is stationary somewhere on the track. We'll see. Oh! William Murrah getting out of shape. Loses a spot there to Mika Watt. Probably going to lose a spot to also to Sutherland. Yep. There goes the Porsche. Still ahead of Avila, though, in 11th place. Avila looking aggressive, though. Don't know much about Freddie Avila, but he does seem to be a man who isn't afraid to take risks.
Word is on the street that Freddie Avila once killed a man using only a popsicle.
Paul Riccobeni, by the way, falling back to 5th place, losing a spot to Bartosiak. And we have lost a car for the field. Let's see if I can figure out who it is. We're down to 22. Oh, it's Mitchell. Okay, so he was in last place anyway, so not a huge deal. We still have that yellow flag out. What is going on here? That reminds me of the Krychek scene from Nash Bridges. You don't think he's deadly? Oh, Harvey, tell the good agent how our victim died. Well, it's kind of interesting. A number 2 pencil was introduced to his heart, and I don't know. Krychek was like it was a cop show, and Krychek was a comical assassin. Frankly, it's like, this is a man who killed a man with a paperclip. Anything is a lethal weapon to this guy.
I always enjoyed the scene from Daredevil when Colin Farrell killed that lady with a peanut.
That is true.
Do you need anything else, sir? More peanuts, please.
That was the best part of that movie, honestly. Was Bullseye, as played by
I
Colin
would have
Farrell.
fucking cost you. It was tremendous. I enjoyed it.
It was great. It was great. It was fantastic. Colin Farrell's a bit hit and miss with me. Like, he's had some of the greatest performances, and just some very forgettable ones as well.
I have always enjoyed the movie Tigerland. He's fantastic in that movie.
He is fantastic.
And was it a phone booth?
Oh, he was very good in that.
Yeah,
very good.
We're gonna make a movie in a phone booth.
William Murrah having adventures off track.
I always mean to watch Seven Psychopaths because that looks fantastic, but I just can't get around to it for some reason.
It's very good. I recommend. Do you recommend it? Oh, I discovered something today. So I'm looking for shows to add to my like watch list after I get done with what's on there. I was just like, I don't know, randomly looking at shows I watched as a kid to be like, how bad are these, like, 20 years later or whatever? And I was looking at one, and I saw that Tyler Hines was in it, and I'm like, I know that name from somewhere, and it's not this show. And then I looked it up. It's Dirks from Letterkenny.
Oh.
And the irony, though, is that in the show I was looking at, he plays a massive nerd. So I'm kind of intrigued just to watch it to see, like, Tyler Hines as a nerd. I'm intrigued by this. It would be a teenager Tyler Hines. I don't know. Maybe he went through a really geeky phase before becoming the hot stuff that he is now. But
these are possible things.
But I'm kind of intrigued now. Although I do wonder if I'll be watching the show and just be going, Dirks. On my list is a show I watched as a kid called The Odyssey, which has Ryan Reynolds in it. A very young Ryan Reynolds.
They were only 2 years old and they threw him over a cliff.
I think he was like 20 at the time. As we get a battle between Seth Chaney and Jamie Bayless. This is over 17th place, which it looks like Chaney has just taken from Bayless, judging by the fact that they are in the reverse order on the standing side there. So we'll see what the very powerful McLaren, which has great straight line speed, can get done against the Camaro here, which is surprisingly not great in a straight line, as I think that just right there kind of indicated. Bayless just buzzing right past. Matt Higgs still in the lead, followed by Simmons and Belanger. Not really bothering with corner names today. I don't know them. I don't really know them visibly. So there will not be detailed information on the Snetterton track because I just don't know it. Our pit window is now open. Everyone has 10 minutes to make a pit stop for 4 tires and presumably fuel, and rejoin the race. Higgs in the lead from Simmons Belanger. It's pretty much been that 3-man group at the front the whole time. We got a battle going on between Trevor Chaney and one of the Aston Martins. That would be Miko Watt. They trail John Archie in the BMW, and the Camaros are losing out on the straight in a big way. I don't think that they're that slow in a straight line. I wonder if it's maybe they're just not handling the wet track very well. As maybe Matt Higgs falls to second place.
They should put some chains on.
Max Simmons has taken the lead. And Higgs is in trouble here because Don Belanger is sniffing around as the camera guy, with neck-breaking precision, goes back to that fight. Bartosiak still in 4th, followed by Riccobeni, Wentworth in 6th. So the top 6 are fairly stable. Beyond that, though, it is a bit of a brouhaha because we got Archie now up to 7th, with Watt now up to 8th, Chaney down to 9th, Avila up to 10th, Sutherland down to 11th, Otan in 12th, Martin Murrah's fallen down to 15th place. We got some pit stops early here from Seth Chaney as well as Santos. And we have lost another car. I am trying to figure out who it is. Oh, it's Cole McRae. We've lost the Janetta. So,
Marta Janetta?
That has...
Kick through a window again.
That has solved the issue of the Cole McRae random position alert as Trevor Chaney hits the pit lane. Don Belanger looking hungrily for a possible win here. Also the pits, Otan and Murrah.
Otan and the Masters of the Universe.
We'll figure out.
have the power.
We will figure out his name at some point.
It's Olivier.
Might be.
Olivier Tanager the Fourth.
Trevor Chaney rejoining the race along with O10 from the pit lane. Skylar Casterin. Relatively short pit lane here. This track is very interesting. I kind of want to explore it at some point in a video, but it's got some creativity to it. I will say that much. It is weird, and has a tendency to roll back in on itself a lot. So for as long as it is, it's not like a large piece of land for a 2-minute lap.
Maybe I should try and do that on Trackmania. Like the most track you could possibly pack into 1/4 of the field.
Oh, Matt Higgs into the pits along with Dom Belanger. So Higgs undercutting Simmons and Belanger at least keeping pace. I don't think the undercut is super popular here because, again, we're not really on a tire limited scenario. But might be just trying to get some free air. Mika Watt also in, as well as Freddie Avila. Who is Freddie Avila? I feel like that name is like there's an MMA fighter or a baseball player or something with that name.
Wasn't there a Freddie Aguilar played baseball?
There is a Freddie Aguilar, but I swear there's a Freddie Avila as well that played a sport that I watch or like was an MMA fighter or something.
Not coming up with any sports people. Got some Facebook profiles. Well, let's try the other Freddie Avila. Yeah, more Marina Del Rey, California, from LinkedIn.
Oh, we got the Burger King Alpine in the field. I didn't even realize that. Got the Burger King, Byron.
Alpine. I'm begging of you, please don't burn the gas.
My brother was a supervisor at the Burger King I worked at, and he really thought he was the Burger King. You know what I'm saying?
Le King du Berger.
Cliff Hemian. So it's not really worked out for Matt Higgs because he's come out right behind Cliff Hemian. And that means any attempt he wanted to get clear air to work an undercut against Max Simmons has kind of been defeated by the fact that he is now out with the number 66 car. Or is that Alonso? Okay, I think this is Alonso. I think we have a Higgs Alonso in the same livery type scenario. Although Higgs is right behind Tom Waz, so it's not much better. In fact, Higgs got jumped in the pit lane by Dom Belanger. Interesting.
How interesting.
So the number 84 car getting the better of Matt Higgs for what is effectively second place in the pit lane. Simmons, Bartosiak, Riccobeni, Wentworth, Archie, Sutherland, Martin, Hemian, Alonso, and hey, Jamie Bayless. We're just going to get to you on the rundown. Are still out. Wentworth and Archie dive into the pits. We'll see. Yeah, this is near the end of the lap, so we'll see if Bayless goes in. This is the last turn here. Don't know what number it is. Don't know what name it is. Alonso in the pit lane. And Bayless will continue for another lap. Probably one more because we're down to 3.5 minutes left. And as you can see there, it's about a 2-minute lap. 2-minute plus lap. 2 minute, probably somewhere anywhere from 2:03 to 2:07. And Stuart Bartosiak going for the lead. Okay, so it's Stuart. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. Stuart to the lead. That might be That may be the overall lead because, like I said, Higgs and Belanger, well, Higgs in particular, came out in a kind of bad spot and had to deal with the Alpine of Tom Waz, so he probably lost some time.
Is that Hot Stewart or regular methed out Stewart?
Well, he's winning the race, so I got to go with Hot Stewart.
Fair enough.
Drive-through penalty for Diego Alonso, I do believe. Oh, boy. Someone has left the tire bale.
Damn.
Oh, boy. It almost lands on top of Simmons' Aston Martin. I wonder how destructible that thing, how much damage that'll do. Because I know the one from Donington Park will actually damage your car if it hits you. I don't know if that one will. Stuart Bartosiak in the effective lead. Now, is he actually in the lead? I don't know. It's either him or it's Don Belanger, who is shown in 8th place right now, but has pitted. Into the pits they come. Bartosiak and Simmons, we will get our answer. Paul, Rick, and Benny in as well. There is 2 minutes on the clock, so I imagine anyone is coming in now, because to come in any later is going to be a mistake. But we'll see. I did see a car go through there. I hope it's somebody who's already pitted. Oh, okay. Mark Sutherland is rolling the dice. The Porsche driver is staying out. I wonder if he can make it back to the pits in time to actually get his pit stop done. It's going to be close, but perhaps not impossible. Also the pits. We got Martin, Hemian, and Bayless in the pits, so not much. No one else seems to be gambling on it except for maybe Tom Was. Trevor Cheney, shown in 14th place, so they're probably in the top 10. One says, oh boy. Internet issue for Trevor Cheney. And Waz is in the pit lane. So Sutherland is the gambler. I'd love to get a camera on him because he's got 40 plus seconds to get into the pit lane. And he has to be close. Otherwise, he is going to incur a no pit stop penalty. And that is quite large. Usually it's about 130 seconds. Zachary Martin running. I don't know who that is behind because that's not Trevor Cheney ahead of him. Could be Otan. I think it's Otan. Skylar Castor. A rough day. We've lost a couple more cars. We've lost Santos from the race. As well as... who else is missing?
I believe that would be Mike Stockman.
We got 3 Camaros still. Got the single Alpine, single Maserati. Bartosiak, by the way, in the lead ahead of Higgs. Belanger's had an incident because he's dropped down to 5th place. Oh, we're missing a bunch. We're missing Murrah. It's William Murrah that we've lost. That's a surprising DNF. Ori Tan. There we go. We got first names for everybody now.
What?
Except for Mitchell.
Ori in the Blind Forest.
Mm-hmm. Sutherland in the pits, but I think he came in too late.
Be sure to tune in for the sequel for Ori in the Blind Forest, which will be Ori in the Deaf Meadow.
Mm. There are a ridiculous number of MMA fighters saying give the UFC card this weekend a chance. Like, you never know, because like a bad fight could be a really good fight. And they're not wrong, but that doesn't change that the UFC completely has failed to promote this card. Like, the construction of the card is really bad. It's a bunch of fighters that the UFC clearly doesn't care about. And that means they've not promoted them well.
Well, what you got to do here is you got to put things on the TV because people don't read the newspaper no more, and then Dana White just doesn't understand that because he's 72,000 years old.
Well, the Chris Rainey comic put it best when Dana White screaming, "You remember Uriah Hall, who I completely dragged into the gutter after he knocked out Anderson Silva? What about Sean Strickland, which is a name that I have totally just said now?" That's the main event. Oh, Lord. Don't get me wrong, I think that's going to be a good main event because... So, we have often talked about, not necessarily here, but like when we're talking about MMA, about Uriah Hall's kind of unique neuroses as a fighter. The fact that he's clearly a person who was bullied a lot in their life and responds to bullies in a certain way, but otherwise actually feels really bad about hurting people. And we're both kind of surprised he's even fighting after he broke Chris Weidman's leg.
Yeah, we figured that was the end of his career.
Yeah, we kind of thought that was the end of his
PTSD,
career.
he'd never fight again.
Yeah, we kind of thought that would, like, you know, end the PTSD, but he's fighting Sean Strickland, who is the dude who yells at people in the ring and trash talks and has that video of him trying to beat up his training partner and by going to somebody else's gym and trying to beat them up. And it's like, I mean, if there is anyone in the UFC who's going to remind Uriah Hall of his childhood bullies, it's Sean Strickland. So we might see something fucking spectacular. Like we might see like a spinning head kick knockout or something.
Those are always fun, and he is very capable of doing all of those things.
Like, and it's not going to be like the Adam Sella one where Hall was like, "I'm sorry, Adam," and looked like really heartbroken after he knocked out Adam Sella. No. This is going to be like, "Oh, I feel good about that one."
That one was pretty tasty.
But the card is full of people that the UFC has done absolutely nothing to promote, with the exception of, I guess, Hall. They've done some promotion with Uriah Hall. And they've done a lot of promotion for Cheyenne Bays. And I'm entirely certain the only reason is because she gives Dana White a hard-on, because she's not actually a good fighter.
These are very possible statements of truth.
She looked very bad in her UFC debut. So Max Simmons has gotten ahead of Higgs. Higgs is having trouble in the rain today. And Bartosiak is kind of running away with this one. I said that I thought the Maserati would have advantages in the rain. Not because it's good in the rain or that there's a fundamental advantage in the car. Whoa! But because it's always a handful to handle. And that kind of preps you for the rain. Higgs going side by side with Matt Higgs. Or, pardon me, Matt Higgs with Max Simmons. Simmons hanging on. These two had some battles in the 3 hours of Nürburgring.
And I hear they had a fight in the parking lot.
And Dom Balaje watches closely as he looks to get... Balaje, I thought, had the lead when he got past Higgs in the pit lane. And something happened that put him behind both Simmons and Higgs. I wonder if Higgs might be facing a penalty for nudging a car out of the way, but we did not see.
I will now penalize everybody. 72,000 points.
And behind them is the Audi of Paul Riccobeni. The rock and roller.
Word on the street is that Paul Riccobeni eats 13 owls a day to keep him strong.
By the way, I saw that somebody with the last name Kawajiri joined the ESR Discord.
That is nice.
And if you would like to make your debut in one of Byron's commentary videos, that would be.
You have a nickname
Byron,
already programmed.
You have it. You're ready. It's sitting here waiting for you.
You betcha. One of the greatest fighters ever to be Japanese.
Pretty much. Like, he's top 10, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's not number one, because number one is Sakuraba, let's be real.
Yeah. Sakuraba, Gomi, Kawajiri, Aoki. As much as Aoki. Oh, yeah, the KID. Y'all can't fuck with the KID. You have to go with Imanari.
Imanari is one of their most influential fighters and innovative fighters, but his actual career has a lot of, like, every time he ran up against someone that you really know, he would beat them. Although, I will never forget that time he beat the dude who tried to Imanari roll him. That was hilarious.
Funny.
That was great. He's like, kid goes, this young kid like rolls for a knee bar against Imanari, which is literally called the Imanari roll, and the look on Imanari's face is like, oh, I see. I've become the old guy. We don't remember who I am. And then he broke that leg off. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he did. Then there's Akihiro Gono.
Oh, Gono. Gono is entertaining as fuck. Him and Genki Sudo. My lord.
And
Higgs looking back at Boulanger. Max Simmons. Where's Simmons? We lose Simmons? Is he falling back? He's back to 7th place. So something happened to Max Simmons. The 61 car is now shown in 7th. So it is Bartosiak, Higgs, and Boulanger on the podium now. Riccobeni up to 4th, Wentworth to 5th, Archie to 6th. As the Alpine of Tom was going off the track there. Loses a spot to Diego Alonso.
But what about the Grobaka hitman, Kazuo Masaki?
Masaki. Up there.
And what about your boy, Dokon Jonosuke Machima?
I mean, doesn't belong on like the upper level of the Japanese pantheon.
But he came down to every fight with a Snoopy doll.
Yeah, I didn't say he wasn't entertaining. Entertaining as fuck. Japanese MMA pageantry is second to none. Boulanger is still getting held off by Higgs, but it does look like he's the faster of the two, and Riccobeni is catching both of them. That Audi is coming. My lord, that Audi is so high off the ground, though. And I know from having ran it last season, it doesn't get lower than that. It is really high off the ground, and I don't know why. Oh boy. Higgs is under all kinds of pressure from Don Boulanger and maybe his longtime rival, Paul Riccobeni, as Stuart Bartosiak is running away with it. Wentworth in 5th, you can see just at the back of the shot there in the classic silver Mercedes. Higgs trying to take this run. I believe this is a danger zone, so I'm not sure if it would have been advisable for Boulanger to try what it looked like he was kind of trying to do there, which was a little bit of a dive bomb. Because I do believe that turn 2 hairpin is considered a danger zone all track long because of the extreme braking zone that it is.
I feel like they need to bring
according to the track map I have here.
They need to bring back them little shitbox cars so we can see some Minari rolls on the track.
Aren't they more like? They're more like Gambi rolls though, not so
the
much,
beer Rambolo.
Not so much Minari rolls. Boulanger still pressuring Higgs. We got 4.5 minutes to go. So probably 3 laps, including this one. Continuing down the roll, Max Simmons in 7th, What, Cheney, Avila rounding off the top 10, followed by Zach Martin, Ori Tan, Sutherland, who is facing a pit stop violation penalty, Cliff Hemian, Jamie Bayless, Diego Alonso, Seth Cheney, and Tom Laws, Skylar Caster. Big day for Trevor Cheney amongst the AMs. He's up in 9th place, and everyone else in the AM category is at the back. So definitely putting his stamp on proceedings right now. Check in with Zach Martin under pressure from Ori Tan. It's very promising that Tan is making Zach Martin work, as Martin is a top-end silver in this championship. Him and Mika Watt are the odds-on favorites to take the belt. And Ori Tan, oh, he couldn't hold it. Could not hold it. Zach Martin keeps control, keeps the spot, heads into the last turn of the lap, and remains in 11th place. And Tan really a little too far back now to really think he's going to catch him.
And then?
And then he finishes 11th place.
Oh, snap.
That's kind of how that works. He's a fair ways behind Avila, so I don't think a top 10 is in the cards here for Martin. And when he comes across the line, we'll have there it is, 9.9 seconds in 2 laps is probably asking a little bit too much. But You take what you can get on days like this. The wet is always always a little bit hazardous, always a bit of a problem. It's an opportunity, but it's also something that you just kind of thank the heavens that you pick up a decent result. As Matt Higgs has gotten a little bit of gap now to Boulanger and Riccobeni. A little over a second up on Boulanger, who is a little bit over a second and a half ahead of Paul Riccobeni. It's been a while since we got hit with the gunshot that sometimes comes up in the ACC replays. Nope. Still to this date have no idea what the hell that thing is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Randomly, you'll get what sounds like a gunshot in some ACC replays.
No.
We have no idea what causes it.
Probably somebody shooting.
Oh, John Archie getting a little out of shape, and Max Simmons trying to capitalize. But I think that little bobble actually helped out Archie to hold off Simmons for now. But Simmons will have one more lap to go. Should be the final lap starting very shortly. BMW versus Aston Martin. The Aston Martins look pretty strong today. Watt's had some good moments. You've got Don Boulanger up there on the podium. Simmons led the race for a reasonable chunk. So it does seem that that car responds pretty well to the wet. See what it can do against the BMW. The only surviving BMW. Oh, Archie squeezes him good.
You're going to turn your head and cough on that one.
Runs it a bit wide. See what Simmons can do. Riccobeni is all over the back of Boulanger. Nope, not anymore. Looks like they may have had a... So they may have swapped a little bit of paint, and Riccobeni came out a little bit the worse on that one because he's now back 1.8 seconds. What do you think? Can Max Simmons get the job done?
No, he's too short. And also, it's his bedtime.
I mean, this does play to the Simmons aggression. We've talked about Simmons being a weak driver in terms of being able to put together corner after corner. But when it comes to a last lap lunge, he's pretty good at it. Let's see what happens here. It's got about a half lap to go. But it looks like Archie has got the car stabilized enough to maybe drive it out. Picking up Mark Sutherland, who is being caught by Cliff Hemian. Puts Hemian in a weird spot because he knows that he's effectively ahead of Sutherland, I would think, because Sutherland is facing that the pit lane violation penalty. And Matt Higgs is... Oh, is that Higgs? That is Matt Higgs! Higgs has fallen from second to fourth. What has happened to Matt Higgs? Because it is now Don Boulanger and Paul Riccobeni rounding off the podium as they head to the last corner. And Higgs, on the last lap, appears to have thrown a podium away.
Well, you see, the thing of it is what you do here is you just go sideways off the track.
Unless something in the stewarding takes that away from him.
Also, Paul Riccobeni's car, it makes me want a grape soda.
A little bit. Jeff Wentworth finishing in fifth, ahead of John Archie, Max Simmons, and Miko Watt. And then Trevor Cheney will probably take home ninth, although Freddie Avila is very close. Can we get a camera on that, please?
Nope.
Cheney takes it ahead of Avila. Looks like Avila may have made a mistake, actually, because he fell almost 7 seconds behind. Zach Martin in 11th, as largely expected. Ori Tan comes across in 12th. There is the 132nd penalty for Sutherland. Hemian in 14th. We wait for Bayless and the AM category drivers. There is Bayless. I wonder if that Tolman Motorsports team is any way related to the old F1 Tolman team.
Or to the ancient Tolmans who erected Stonehenge.
Alonso, Seth Cheney, finishing 16th, 17th. Might pick up a spot over, probably will pick up a spot over Sutherland. And then it is Tom Waz in 18th place, and We just await Skylar Castor to finish the race. Some people are leaving a bit early, which is unfortunate. Makes that result a little. There we are. So Sutherland's penalty carries him right to the back of the pack, so even Castor ends up ahead of him. By a fair bit, actually. 64 seconds. Wow. Lost Murrah, Santos, McRae, and Mitchell. 67% retirement rate amongst the BMW drivers. That's a bit problematic. I will go check Race App to see if we have updated standings. If Byron would like to fill a little time.
Nope.
But that's your skill.
Oh,
that's
God, whatever.
It's your magical talent.
Yell at me all the time and tried stuff, and you never pull Race App up because you're always masturbating to weird things like guys in prison talking to religious folks about vagina. Don't understand it. But
I enjoyed that scene. I don't know what's wrong with you.
It's just very strange.
Oh, we do have standings. Okay, so with the win, Stuart Bartosiak does take the lead with 167 points ahead of Jeff Wentworth on 164. Wentworth came in with the lead. He was the winner at Brands Hatch. Max Simmons is third on 153. Mika Watt and Matt Higgs are even on 145 apiece. John Archie, 133. 124 for Paul Riccobeni. Trevor Cheney on 115. Guy 1C, which I think is Ori Tan, is ninth. Yes, it is Ori Tan, because that driver finished in 12th place today. And then Mark Sutherland, that is your top 10. Leading the team's championship, it's maxed out Mika Sports, Max Simmons and Mika Watt, followed by V8 Racing by OTL, which is Jake Keckley, Seth Cheney, Trevor Cheney, and Skylar Castor, and the Carbones Racing team of Diego Alonso, Guillermo Martinez, and Matt Higgs. Then in the bronze category, it is Trevor Cheney leading the way from Alonso and Castor. And in the silver category, it is Mika Watt leading from Ori Tan, and a tie between Jamie Bayless and Cliff Hemian. There is no tiebreaker there because they've actually got identical results, 13th and 14th and 14th and 13th. So we got a battle brewing between those two.
And they will be fighting to the death live on stream this Sunday.
We got Silverstone up next in 2 weeks' time. Well, about a week and a half at this point because we're recording this on a Thursday. And Byron, do you have anything final to add?
Everybody go outside and set something on fire.